So now let us look at the end of chapter question. This is the end of chapter question. So it is requiring us to calculate the inventory variation at 30 June 2009 using FIFO and LIFO, 6 marks. Right? So that's that. Then calculate the trading profit for the period of January to June using both methods, variation for opening and closing stock inventory. Another 6 marks to give 18. And lastly, explain the possible reasons behind the company deciding to change to FIFO method at present time. So let us now look at it. The first, the question reads, Matabwa Limited trade in a single product and maintain a perpetual inventory system. The company has valued its stock on LIFO basis, but is now considering to change to FIFO. So they were valuing their inventory using the LIFO. Now they want to change to FIFO. That's something that we have to note, right? The inventory now is valued using what? LIFO. The second, their records disclose that 20,000 units were in inventory at the beginning of the current period. So whatever we are going to be doing, we should know that there's opening inventory. We did not encounter a question with opening inventory. Now it's our chance to look at how we are going to treat opening inventory. But keep in mind, they were using what? LIFO. They have been valued on the basis of receipt of 5,000 units priced at 25, of which 4,000 had been sold before the end of the period, right? Plus 500 from delivery in October, which cost 20 per unit, plus 500 purchased in July. That's previous year, when the cost was 5 kwacha per unit. So we have the things that actually happened, transaction happening within the 6 months from January to June, in which we are supposed to prepare. So let me give you a picture of this statement, right? If we're going to order this inventory in according to their purchase, the first to be purchased is the one that was purchased in October, right? In the inventory. The one that has been purchased, right, in the inventory first will be this 500, which was purchased in July for 5. So in other words, we're saying, just to accord them, so we're saying 5,000, which was purchased earlier for 5 kwacha, that will be costing what? This. Then came the other 500, which was purchased in October, right? October at 20 kwacha. So another 500 in October at 20 kwacha, which will be 10,000. And lastly is the 5,000, this 5,000, right? This is the order of what? Of the inventory that is being stated here. So it was bought at 25. So basically, when we say that 5,000 times 25, we should find 105. So this is the order, right? But they said that they sold, out of those, right, they sold 4,000 in the previous period, 4,000. That means if we are using FIFO, we should know that the first to go will be this one, then this one, the remaining 3,000 will come from here. But if we are using FIFO, LIFO, last in, first out, that means we're going to start from here, right? Because this is the one that came in last, the 4,000. We're talking about the inventory. So the whole 4,000 will come from here, right? Let's just talk about the level of inventory if we remove the 4,000 from this inventory, which is 6,000, the remaining will be 2,000. This is the what? Inventory which is being stated to be the opening inventory. So we need to take into account if you are using LIFO and FIFO, right? Inventory also, opening inventory also have to take the same what? Trend. So let us start with one of them. So I'll start with LIFO, right? So going back to this one, LIFO, first in, last in, first out. That means if you want to find the closing inventory, the value of closing inventory, what we are saying that when they were saying the 4,000, they started with the last, which came in last. That means 4,000 went from this. Meaning what was remaining there was 1,000 from there. That means the inventory was formed by the 5,000, the 500, the 500, and the 1,000 from here. That means if we are using LIFO on 1 January, what was in the balance was the 500, which was bought at what? 5, which is together 2,500. Another 500, which was bought at 20, which is 10,000. And remaining 1,000, which was bought at 25, which is 25,000. So together here, we're going to find that the opening inventory, which was said to be 2,000, right? And together here, we can find the value to being 37,500. So that's the value of the opening inventory using LIFO. Now we're done with the opening inventory. Now let us look at the transaction. So in January, they sold 1.5 units. So they issued 1.5. So we go on 1 January, right? They did not receive, but they issued 1.5. So this is last in, first out. Last in, first out. So from our balance, which is this one, which came in last, the 1,000. That means we're going to start. So this is quantity, units, and value. So we're going to start with the 1,000, costing at 25, which is going to be 25,000. And now the 500, which is costing at what? 20, which is 10,000. Together here 1.5, which was issued, and together here 35. Meaning, what's remaining in our inventory is only the 500, which was purchased at 5 kwaja, which together it is 2,500. So closing this is 500, that's the balances, and the value of the balance is 2,500. That's on 1 January. No, in January rather, not on 1 January, in January. Let's go to the second transaction. In February, they actually purchased 10,000 units more at 25. So they actually purchased 10,000 in February. So they purchased 10,000 units at 25, making 250. And they did not issue, meaning in the stores we have the 500, which is valued at 5, which is 2,500, and the 10,000, which is valued at 25, which is 250. Right? Together, 252,500. That's the value, and the units is 10,500. That's the balance on February. Going to the third transaction, on March, what? They actually sold 8,000 units, right? We do not focus on what? The selling price. This is just about the cost when we are doing the what? Our schedule. So they actually sold 8,000. This is what? March. This is last in, first out. So what came in last? The 10,000. That means the all 8,000 will come from what? That bunch. So we're saying 8,000. So we're saying 8,000 will be cost at what? 25. Because it's going to come from the bunch of what? 10,000. Right? 8,000 will be valued at that. So if you multiply that, that's 200,000. So that's the value. Right? That means in our balance, we're going to have the 500, yes, which is costing us, and we're going to have a 2,000 there. right? Costing at 25. Here the balance is 2,500, right? Here is 2,500, and here we should find a value, what, of 50,000. Together being 52,500. That's in March. Let's continue. What? In April, what happened? They actually purchased another consignment, 15,000 units at 26. So we're saying they actually purchased 15,000 units at 26, which the value, when you multiply, is 390,000. No issue during the year. That means our balance will consist of the 500, the 2,000, and the new consignment of 15,000. Together, the units should give us one. If we add up all that, we should find of 17,500. Those are the number of units in stock. Let us look at the value. This will be cost at 5, this at 25, and this at 6. So if you multiply, this is 2,500, this one 50,000, and this one 390. So if we add this up, we should find a value of 400 and 442,500. That's the value of the balance in April. So let us go in May. In May, they actually purchased another consignment, 6,000 units at 27. So we're going 6,000 units in May, 6,500 baht, 6,500 units at 27. What the value will be 17,500. Right? There's no issue. That means the balance will be the 500, the 2,000, the 15,000, and the new consignment, which is 6,500. If you are going to add all that, what you should find a value of 24,000 units. Now let us look at the value. This is 5. This is valued at 25. This is at 26, and this one at 27. So this is 2,500. This one 50,000. This one 390,000, and this one 175,500. If you are going to add up all that, you should find a value of 618,000. That's in May. Now let us wrap up in June. In June, they sold 22,000 units. So we are saying that in June, they did not issue, but they sold 22,000 units. Because this is last in, first out, the first to go will be the 6,500. Right? The 22 is not done yet. 15,000 also go. Right? It's not done yet. Right? And another 500. Right? Together, when you add this, you should find what? 22. So, meaning this one will be cost at 27, this one at 26, and this one at what? 25. So, if you're going to say that, this one should be 175,500. This one should be 390. And the last one has to be 12,500. If you add up, you should find 578,000. That's the value when you add up those. That means in our stock, what is remaining? What is the 500? Yeah, the 500 is still there, right? In the 2,000, they took 500. That means 1.5 is there, right? Together, the value in our stock is only 2,000 units that is remaining. This one is being cost at 5. This one is being cost at 25. This one is going to be 2,500, and this one should give us 37,500. If we are going to add up this, we should find a value of 40,000. So 40,000. So the closing inventory is 2,000 units, and the what? And the value is 40,000. This is using LIFO. Now let us now use FIFO. Let us use FIFO. The first thing, we're going to use the what? We want to find the opening inventory first. Now, because we are using LIFO, what we are saying is first in, first out. That means if they sold 4,000 units last year, right, the previous period, that means they started with the one that came first, that means the remaining 6,500, then this one, remaining 6,000, and another 300 came from there. Meaning that the closing inventory, the previous period, only consists of the 2,000, which was bought at 25, which together is 50. Meaning our opening inventory should be that one. So in January, right, our opening inventory should be 2,000 units, cost at 25 being 50. So that's our what? Opening inventory using FIFO. So it's 50. So let us now go transaction by transaction. So let us look at the first transaction. They sold 1,500 units, right? So let us do that sale. So we're saying on January, they actually sold 1,500 because in our stock, all the inventory is being valued at the same price. So we're saying 1,500 will be valued at 25. The value that we should find after the selling of those amounts should be 37,500. So we're saying 37,500. Meaning in our inventory, only 500 is remaining at 25. Right? If you value that, it's supposed to be 12,500. Meaning that's what is remaining in our balance. Meaning 500 units, and the value is what? 12,500. Now let's go in February. In February, they actually came a consignment of 10,000 units, valuing at 25. So we're saying in February, 10,000 units, a consignment at 25, and the value is 250,000. No issue on the same February. That means in our balance, there's this 500, right? And the new 10,000. Meaning the total is 10,500. This one is being valued at 25. This one also being valued at 25. This one is 12,500, and this one is being valued at 250. If we add this up, we should value a value of 262,500. Right? 262,500. So let's continue. Let's continue. March. What happened in March? What happened in March? So in March, we actually sold 8,000 units. In March, we sold 8,000 units. So we sold 8,000. Luckily enough, all the units are being sold at what? Same value. But we still have to use this trend. 8,000, because this is first in, first out, we are going to start with the 500 that came in first, right? And the 75 that came in from the last consignment. So together 8,000, both of them are 25. So if you are saying for the 500, it's going to be 12,500, and this one will be 187,500, together being 20,000. Right? That means in our stock, what's remaining is, we know that from here, we removed all the 500, from here 7.5, meaning we're only remaining with 2.5, valuing at what? 25. Right? That's what is remaining, 2,500. So if we value 2.5, right, at 25, it should give us 62,500. That means our value of the balance in March is that. Now let's go to April. what happened in April. So in April, actually came a new consignment of 15,000 units at 26. So in April, 15,000 units. 15,000 units at 26. What the value being 390. That means there's no consignment, but our balance will be consisting of 2,500, which was there already, right? And the new consignment of 15,000, together being 17,500. This is valuing at 25, this is valued at 26, and this is 62,500, and this one 390. Together, we should find a value of 452, 452, 500, 452, 500. Right? 452, 500. Now let's go in May. What happened in May? In May, there was also another consignment of 6,500 at 27. So we're saying in May, 6,500 at 27, the value which is 175,500 together, what we are saying is, there's a value of 2,500 in our inventory, another one of 15, and another one of 65. Together, we are finding 24,000 units. This one is valued at 25, this one 26, and this one 27. This one is valuing at 62,500, this one at 390, and the new consignment is 175,500. Together, we should find a value of 628,000. In June now, let us look at the values in June. In June, they actually sold 22,000 units. So we're saying in June, they sold 22,000 units. Because this one is first up, we're going to start with the 2,500. Now go to the 15, but the 22 is not over. Now, the remaining 4,500 will come from what? The 6,500. So that means the whole balance should be 22. Meaning that this one should be valued at 25, this one 26, and this one 27. So together this is 62,500, this one 139,000, and lastly 121,500. If we add up, we should find a value of 574,000. Right? Now let us go to the balance. So we know that now what's remaining is basically the 2,000 from what? The bunch of 6,500. Only 2,000. So we're saying 2,000 is remaining there at a value of 27. So that's the value 2,000 at the value of 27, which when we multiply, right? When we multiply, the value should give us 54. So basically, that's our closing inventory, 54,000. So that's how we are going to use the FIFO to solve that question. Now, let us do the other question, which was requiring us to prepare the statement of profit or loss, in other words. So we have LIFO here. I'll just put it LIFO and FIFO. So I have LIFO here and FIFO. So let us start with the sales, right? All the sales were sold at the same units. So we can just say 1,500 plus 8,000 plus 22,000, so times 40. So we're saying $15 plus 8,000 plus 28,000 plus 22,000 times 40, right? We should find a value of 126. 1,260,000 rather. So this is the sales. Sales does not change between what? Any valuation method, right? But now let us go to cost of sales. Let us start with opening inventory. For this one, opening inventory, for FIFO and LIFO, we found different, right? Opening inventory, for LIFO, let's start with this one. With LIFO, we found that the opening inventory, what, was 37,500. So we'll go there. 37,500. 37,500. While for FIFO, we found that it's 50. Right? Let us go to purchases. The first way to find the purchases is just to add this column for receipts, right? And go on values and add up the figure. So here we have 250, you have 390, and you have 175, 500. Both valuation method will have the same. So if you add up those, the purchases, you should find 15,000. Right? That means all of them 15,000. Now that's on purchases rather. So this is for this, this is for this. Now let's go closing inventory. That's less closing inventory. All right. Now let us look at the valuation methods and look at the closing inventories. So with our using FIFO, we have 54,000. So we'll go there, 54,000 using LIFO, right? 54,000. FIFO, 54,000. While using LIFO, we found that it is 40,000. Right? We can just go cross check. Right? Using LIFO, we found that it is what? 40,000 here. So that's exactly. So you have 40,000. So we can find the cost of sales. So the cost of sales for this one should be 183,000. And the gross profit, if we subtract with this and this, we should find a value of 44,700. While for this one, we should find the cost of sales being 1,811,500, and the gross profit should be 448,500. So here there's another zero here. I made a mistake. It's 447,000. Here 448,500. So that's how we should find the gross profits. This one is not complicated. So this one was an easy 5 marks, 6 marks rather. If you do the 2 correctly, this one is an easy 5, 6 marks. So let us finish up. Explain the possible reasons behind the cost decision to change from LIFO to FIFO. In other words, they're telling us, let us talk about the advantages of FIFO over LIFO. So you can say that one, FIFO is recommended by accounting standard. So they might change because it is recommended by the accounting standard, right? The other thing is inventory, right? Inventory with FIFO is valued at a realistic value, right? Let's just closing inventory will be valued at a realistic amount. Closer to the what? Closer to the current market value. These are the 2 reasons why you could switch from LIFO to FIFO. So, thank you.